Hi there, everyone. I'm at the park. I'm watching a love match in progress. I was sitting here, and there was a young lady sitting here with her dog, and then the guy came with his dog, and then they all started talking, and I was like, oh, I could feel the energy between them. I could feel the charm. I could feel the dogs are having a thing, and these two are having a thing, and I was sitting here first, and I'm not gonna move. I literally was like, I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna just keep doing my video. I'm not gonna shift. Because there is a whole park here. Like, look at all that space back there. and it's all empty, and everyone is right here. Everyone is right here with me. That's what's going on in my world. Okay, so with that being said, today we're still in the moon in Cancer. We're still in the new moon energy. The new moon in Cancer, and we are in the throes of deep releasing. There's a deep release happening, and it can be deeply felt in your system if you are allowing yourself to be present. So let me say that Cancer governs. Oh, look at, they're finally walking away. Yay, they're finally walking away, y'all. They've been sitting up under me for like 20 minutes. Just like literally. I was like, look at all that space out there. They just laughed. And here come the dogs are coming back. No. Okay. I mean, the park is humongous, you all. Like, that's the thing. The park is, this motherfucker is the size of half of a football field. Okay, so Cancer governs the energy of the mother and our matriarchal ancestry. So think of your mother, your grandmother, and then also think of your father and his mother. Like, all of that is the energy of the feminine. This is horsetail. Isn't this pretty? I love horsetail. Horsetail is a herb, is a Saturn herb. And it helps with your bones and your hair and it helps strengthen your teeth and your nails. It's a very good herb. And so sometimes I just work with the herb, like I don't actually take it, though I do take horsetail. But I'm with this one just because I love it. It's like, and it hurts. Hi, sweetie. Hello, my darling. Hello, little girl. The dog. So, back to Cancer. And the reason I mentioned this is because the opposite of Cancer is Capricorn. And Saturn governs Capricorn. And we're going to be having a Capricorn full moon in 2 weeks. All right. There's so much I can talk about. There's so much happening right now. So personally, with the moon and the sun in Cancer, I am personally unraveling deep ancestral patterns, alchemizing them at the deepest level of myself. Patterns around self-abandonment, patterns around associated with not feeling worthy of being who I truly am, so I would shapeshift to be what other people wanted me to be. Patterns of self-denial for the sake of belonging. Patterns of shame and guilt for having a deep desire to be true to myself and to release my need to people please. So it's like I have spent a lifetime adjusting myself for the comfort of others, unaware of what my true needs were, but I could feel it deep inside of me. I could feel deeply inside of me. Today I'm reminded of this thing that happened when I was young. It was so interesting. I had, so today is a Jupiter day, and Jupiter's in Cancer. And Cancer, like I said, governs ancestral patterns and the feminine. And I grew up in a family that my grandmother was super religious. She was super like Christian, like devoted, you know what I mean, with the Bible in her hand all the time. And, oh, yes, Lord, like that. You know, she was that kind of, she was that kind of grandmother. Oh, yeah. She was that kind of grandmother. She would shout. She would get the Holy Spirit and shout. And, you know, they would have to come and she would fall on the floor. She was very, very, very religious. And she passed that down to me. And when I took that on, I took it on as a philosophy to against my true self. I took it on as a way to abandon myself for this thing that I'm being told is better. Not only is it better, but I'm being told that it's necessary for my salvation. And that in and of itself is a whole thing. But really at the core of that was the part of me that gave up my true sense of self to adhere to my grandmother's perspective. And, you know, as children, we're often expected and conditioned to do that. And then we grow up and discover that we're wearing clothes that are too tight, that we're wearing things and participating things that really are not suited for us. And this Christian thing was a big deal for me. And when I was in my late 20s, in my Saturn's return, I was in this period of my life where I was completely confused, really looking for a place to land. And I had gone to college. I had studied at Howard. I left there thinking, I graduated, but I left there being really clear that I could not go to law school and be an attorney. That wasn't for me. And I couldn't go into politics, and that wasn't for me. And so I didn't know what to do. I was literally lost. Like, how am I going to sustain myself? What am I going to do? And I spent years going from one job to the next, to the next, to the next, looking deeply for something that felt aligned. And it wasn't until I was at this job where I met the man who would become my husband. But what I'm remembering now at that time was that I was friends with someone who was deeply rooted in Christianity. And when I started seeing this man, at some point we were going to, like, both of our lives were coming undone. And we were like, okay, like, he needed a place to live and I needed a place to live. And it was like, okay, let's just move in together. We were calling it a love match, but it wasn't really a love match. It was a wound match. And I discovered that once we moved in together. But when we moved in together, my then friend said to me, you can't just live with him because that's a sin. That is a sin. You have to marry him. And I took her advice. I took her advice and I married. These dogs are cracking me up. And I got married to him. And when I tell you, within a month of us living together, I was like, I got to get out of this motherfucker. Like, this is too much. Like, and it wasn't that anything, like, we were having, you know, regular adjustment arguments around who washes dishes. What I will say is that I married someone who was 7 years younger than me. But what I experienced, that when we got into the house together, he took on this very macho perspective. Like, all of a sudden, he was the man and I was the woman, and I had to circulate my life around him. But that had not been, I hadn't had that experience with him before then. It was something that happened when we moved in together. It was almost like a karmic code kicked in. And his brain went into, I'm the man, you follow me. And my brain went into, I don't follow men. Like, that's not who I am. I don't come from an environment where I take the leadership of men. So it was really against who I was. And my friend said to me, you cannot leave. You have to stay at least a year. Again, I listened to her, to her urging, because I didn't have a sense of self. I didn't have a clarity in who I was and what my needs were and what I was up to actually do what it is that I didn't even know what was right. So I just listened to somebody who had some advice that I had some sort of relationship with, that I trusted on some level. And she was married, and she had been married since she was 17. And she got married because she was pregnant, and her father said, because her father was a minister, you must get married. So she got married. And then she gave that same advice to me. And it was anchored in that Christian lens, which my grandmother had implanted inside of me as a very young child. So it felt accurate, and it turned out to be the biggest karmic experience I have ever had, the biggest ancestral karmic experience I have ever had. And that's not a bad thing. It was something was destined to occur in my experience that was ancestral. Regardless, it would happen to be that. It would have happened anyway. And the lesson, karma means there was a lesson to be learned. And the lesson that I needed to learn was that I am my own authority. That when I take the authority of others, when I follow the leadership and guidance and perspective of others, I suffer. I have a really challenging time. Let me let y'all see the dogs. The little babies. There they are. They're the babies. And there are their mating masters. They're not mating yet, but they're going to be mating. I can feel it. I can feel it. So, gosh, it's so interesting. I can't seem to turn it back around. Let me see if I can get it back around. Okay. The mating masters. I just watched them exchange telephone information a few minutes ago. I can feel it. They'll be hot and heavy by next week. Anyway, so today, while we're in this new moon energy in Cancer, I would have thought you were the owner of those dogs. No, I am not the owner of these dogs, but they are sitting over here.
Late summer.
The Cancer energy is the memory. Cancer governs the memory. And memory is sewn into our bodies. Our bodies hold the memory of your ancestry. Your body is the place where all the joy and illness and everything is remembered in the body. So when the sun comes into Cancer, we have this opportunity to go into the memory fields of our own consciousness and alchemize that energy, which is why you hear me talking about my feminine lineage, my grandmother and her connection to the church and Jesus, how that then bled into my friendships, because I was friends with somebody who had a father who was a minister. My grandmother had a father who was a minister, who directed our family through the lens of, being devoted to Jesus. The woman who was my best friend had a father who directed her family through the lens of this Jesus, this external authority is what it is. That's Capricorn, that's coming, giving your power away to something outside of you, giving your authority away to some idea that is outside of you. This is the energy that we're in right now. And you get the opportunity to look at your life and see what patterns are showing up, what memory cords are being revealed, because today the moon is in a sextile with the South Node in Virgo, so it's meaning you're going to have to work for it. Like something is asking to be released, but it's not really easy. You're going to have to dig a little bit. You're going to have to make some effort for it to be realized. And then the moon is in a trine with the North Node in Pisces, which means that when you do this thing of getting clear about what needs to be let go, your imagination, the new reality will easily reveal itself to you if you are willing to do the difficult work of exposing something. And it should be vulnerable. It's something that's vulnerable. It's something that will be unpleasant. It will be something that's not fun. And if you can courageously look at that, courageously allow yourself to see it, to embrace it, then it will release you into your next timeline. Am I making sense? Does anybody have anything going on that is connected to their to their mother's lineage, or to even their father's lineage through the feminine? Because mine comes through my father's lineage through the feminine, though my mother was also a woman who lived her life based on external authority. So this is the karmic lesson. My karmic lesson is learning to have my own authority, learning to be my own authority, learning to accept my responsibility for my life. And so what I get to do is go back and look at that experience that I had where the woman that I was friends with was like, you have to get married, and take responsibility. I gave my power away. I did that. I went to someone and said, what do you think? Or whatever was going on. You know, we were very enmeshed at the time. But because of it, I allowed that. Now, I took the advice of someone, and that advice placed me in a 7-year experience that was hard as hell. Placed me in a 7-year experience that nearly killed me. And it did not. It did. It killed the part of me that needed external authority. It killed the part of me that didn't understand my own value. It killed the part of me that felt like I needed others in order to be safe in the world. It killed all of that in me, because I soon realized that no one can direct me but me. I am the director of my reality. No one has authority but me unless I give it to them. And when I give it to them, boy, and what I learned being married, this was the greatest lesson. I remember when we finally, like when we ended the relationship, I was so clear. I was like, oh, I need to be really clear about what I'm up to in my life. So clear that nobody can move me from it. I have to have such a mission that has nothing to do with a man or children, that is my primary source of passion, creative expression, and mission. And I have to be so devoted to that nobody can move me. And that if I'm going to interact with people, I will interact with the people who are on the path that I'm already on. I'm not going to get off my path and go interact with other people, because I can be vulnerable and susceptible to other people's influence. So I'm not getting off of my path. I'm staying on my path, and I'm going to stay here until the people who are aligned with me come to my path, come to the path that I'm on, because they are in alignment with this path. And that has taken me 50 some years to get. And I'm right on time. I'm right on time. I'm right on time. I am right. My timing is impeccable only every time. I have the most impeccable timing because I have Saturn in Aries. So in the first house. So my timing is like nobody's business. So with this, as we are at the Jupiter energy, Jupiter is about expansion and blessings. Jupiter is in Cancer. It's literally asking us to alchemize those patterns, those memory patterns, those feminine patterns. This is about really waking up to your feminine power and what that is and what that means and what that looks like. This is why I teach. Gabrielle and I are together teaching Daughters of the 13 Moons to assist women in unraveling their subconscious patterns so that they can actually get free and access their power. This is why I create the Mercury retrograde workbooks and all the things that I do, because it is the world that we live in has given us the illusion that what we're seeking is outside of us, and it is not. There is nothing out here. It looks like there is. That's the illusion. That's the Maya. Everything comes from within. Everything you see comes from within. Someone designed this park. This park that I'm sitting in comes out of somebody's mind. They put every tree. The trees didn't just grow here naturally. Someone put the trees in all the places. Someone put all the buildings up. Someone said this street is named Queen Anne. Someone said the light pole goes there. Someone made this blanket that I'm sitting on. Everything comes out of the mind. Everything does. And that includes all of your experiences. I know for me as a woman, I can just have a simple little thought these days, and almost immediately I'm experiencing it in my 3D reality, because everything, as women, we are highly creative, especially now while the sun is in Cancer. The feminine is highly creative. And so the thing is to look at your life and go, what is my world showing me? What is my world showing me about me? About myself? What is my world showing me about myself? And if you can look at that and take responsibility, which is the full moon in Capricorn, be the authority in your own life. I am the authority of this. I created this. Like, rather than being like, oh, I got married because somebody told me to and that marriage was so hard. No, I gave someone the authority. I did that. Take responsibility. And what lesson did that teach me? That someone else's path is not my path. My path is not that of someone who is subject to external religious ideas. That is not who I am. But I didn't know that, and I gave it away. I did it. And I have countless experiences of where I've given my power away, thinking that someone knew better for me than I knew for myself. I could talk all day about that. But what I'm grateful for is to see and know that I am now remembering, because I know that I am the one who is here to break the ancestral patterns. I am the one who will dissolve and alchemize those ancestral codes that my mother wasn't capable of doing because it wasn't her job to do, that my grandmother wasn't capable of doing, it wasn't her job to do. It's my job to do it. And I am doing it for myself and all of my lineage, backwards and forward, 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. And so while the sun and the moon and Jupiter are in Cancer, and the nodes, and they are trining, and the moon is sextiling and trining the nodes in Virgo and Pisces, we are letting go of something that is vulnerable. Pay attention. Like, it has to be uncomfortable. Let's say it that way. It has to be uncomfortable. It's an ancestral pattern. They're usually uncomfortable. They're usually challenging to let go of. Does this resonate? Is there something in your life where you feel yourself, unfinished business with your mother, or, it's having to play small, having to shrink? If this resonates, I would love some hearts. And if you have any questions, ask them, and I would be happy to answer to the best of my ability. Okay, good. I'm happy it resonates. So with that, the energy is it's expansive and highly creative. Fear of abandonment, lack of connection. Yes, absolutely. And so I suggest you go get the Mercury retrograde workbook, because the Mercury retrograde in Leo is going to assist us in cultivating our own creative power, our own authority to be our magical, childlike, free-spirited, open-hearted selves. Because whoever you are, whatever is going on, who you are born to be, it's still inside of you. It's not too late. You were meant to go through those things so that you could learn the lesson and come back and recover that power. Literally everything you just said. You're speaking my life. That's why I said your timing. Yay. All right. So if you guys are interested in the Mercury retrograde workbook, you can go to my Linktree, which is here in my profile, and purchase it there. Or you can go to my website, healwithmoonmama.com, healwithmoonmama.com, and purchase it there. And um, and I believe that I'm going to create a private community for people who purchase the workbook where I can send you videos and things to support the work as well. This is going to be a very in-depth Mercury retrograde in Leo. And so if you are interested in doing that work, if you purchase the workbook, then you will be invited into a smaller, where I'm not out here doing this because I want to stay in the nodal work. And so I'm not going to do two things at the same time. So if you purchase the workbook, I'm going to have a video link where we do videos as well, but it won't be here it won't be here in the public spaces. I'm watching my mother, grandmother, and auntie work through 85 years of the same thing. Wow. Yes. My goodness. Do you want to come in and talk about it? Do you have a moment to come in and share about it? I would love to talk to you about this. This sounds so fascinating. If it feels okay. Just if so, I can invite you. So, I really want to talk. I'm really like, ooh, that's so good. That's juicy stuff. That is juicy, juicy stuff. And that's what we're all up to. Okay, yay. Let's see if it brings you up. Hello.
Hi, hello. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Whew, you send every time I hear you, you send chills because it literally resonates so deeply. Like I just listening to really figuring out who I am as an individual. I moved back home to Chicago. I've been gone 10 years,
Uh-huh.
and to realize that I'm moving back to things that I realized I never released 10
Yes.
years ago. And now I'm seeing things in my mother, my grandmother, and my mother's sister that they're all still working through. And the more that they do work through it, it feels like it's healing. The more they don't work through it, it feels like they are creating physical ailments in the body.
Yes, that's right.
So it's very it's I know I have to do the work because now this is my time to stop whatever's happening on this level. I've been doing research on all of my grandparents. All of the women in my family have been passed. They passed from uterine and cervical cancers.
Wow.
The women,
Woo.
most of the
That's right.
men, more so were either older age mental ailments or suicide. Very
Mm.
common on both sides. And so when I think
Mm-hmm.
about women, I know we hold our stressors in our stomach and in our in our hips.
Uh-huh. And
So
cancer rules the stomach.
and cancer rules the stomach.
And
Yes,
cancer rules the stomach and the womb.
yes, yes.
Yes. Woo!
And
You
so
got
my great
ooh!
grandmother, my grandmother's mother had 10 kids. She was married at 12 and she had her first child at 14. So that
Wow.
doesn't seem like a personal choice that she made for herself,
Right. Right.
a conscious choice. And so
Mm-hmm.
for her to go through that, and I'm realizing now is, just realizing some of the things that she might have gone through, and now it's being passed down through my grandmother and to my mother and her sister. And now they're both working through whatever they're working through,
Now, are they
and so
consciously working through it? Are they having conversations about it? Are they taking responsibility for it? Or are you directing it? Like, because they're older, so how are you watching them work through it?
I think more so for me is conversations. I think it's just having different perspectives.
Yes.
I'm a Libra, so I'm a Libra. I'm a Libra Sun. I'm a Libra Moon. I'm a Libra Mercury.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
that's a lot of
so
that's a lot of analyzing going on. That's good though. You need
exactly.
that. That's good. You need to be able to
Yes,
see it from every side.
yes.
Absolutely.
So definitely. So I have conversations with them, and I try to help everybody get different perspectives on what might be going on, and then but all of them talk to me about their past. So I hear some of the things that they're still holding on to. So I ask questions around those things that happened to them in their past.
So you are helping them work through it.
Yeah, but also working through whatever I'm working through
Right.
because
But if you were not there, would they be working on it? Or is it through your inspiration that they're working on it?
And so that's a part of what I'm trying to work through now, because as a Libra, I always insert myself. I always feel like I have to, and then I overwhelm myself, and then I disappear
Okay.
for months.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to decide, like, is this a moment where I need to step in, or do I need to create boundaries for myself to stay out of this so they can work through it?
So
So
were they working it out before you got there?
it sounds like maybe my mother was trying to work through it, but because she was trying to now hold the family up as the following matriarch, she couldn't work through it because she was trying to take care of others.
Okay, so you really are the catalyst. I hear you not trying to say it.
I mean, it comes with so much responsibility and accountability, but I know at some point I'm going to have to take accountability and responsibility.
Yes, it is. Just do it as soon as you can, because this full moon
Yeah.
in Capricorn is coming, and you're not responsible for them. You are responsible for your perspective. You don't have to heal them, or like you get to listen and setting boundaries. Like someone said, if self boundaries are key, setting boundaries are key.
Mhm.
It's also the boundaries are for you. It's not for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
The boundaries are so that you can maintain your own work in
Hmm.
this and understanding that they are a part of the trajectory, the lineage that you come from. So what you do inside of yourself
Hmm.
will happen in them if you direct it in you.
Got it.
You just, so literally, if you can see that what's happening is a greater thing, if you're the one that has the perspective that love is here, God is here, this
Yes.
is necessary, everything is unfolding, that's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's responsibility is not you're going to save them. That's not what responsibility is.
Yeah.
Responsibility is not you're going to make it all better.
Yeah.
Responsibility is you have the lens to
Hmm.
see this optimally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's easy.
But then, so with that, then what's the difference between helping and supporting? Like, how can I support them while supporting myself? Like, what I know that I can just do what I need
So
to do
you
for
have to
myself.
know that they're not separate from you.
Yes,
The key
absolutely.
is oneness.
Yeah, no,
What you
definitely.
do inside of you is being done inside of them as well.
Got it.
So you don't have to step outside of yourself,
Mhm.
and so it's a like you it's very important that we as women understand that we are the creators of the reality.
Yes.
And if you don't get that, you will always have the perspective that things are separate.
Mhm.
And you are the creator of the reality. The feminine generates everything. So once I realized that, oh, and like we're not taught this at all. We're taught that things are separate. But when you understand the feminine energy, you recognize that in the energy of, for me, in the energy of like Pisces, like all of this is my creation.
Yeah.
I chose this family for my soul's evolution.
Yeah.
I chose these people because they are supporting me. So I think of it from that perspective.
Yes. Got it. Received.
Okay.
Received.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yes. Wow.
No, I
Thank you for
appreciate that.
sharing that.
No, I appreciate the words. I appreciate hearing that. Just knowing that, and I always say that to myself. I do hear you say that often. Oneness, just knowing that I'm not separate from my family, and that's why I started to do the research on my grandmothers to know what their life was like, what how they loved, like what the family dynamic looked like. So, just knowing some of those things kind of helps me to understand family and some of the things that we're working through individually and collectively. So,
Yes. And
I'm
it's
grateful
very
for
important as women for us to understand that when your mother was born, you were already an egg in her ovary.
it. Yes.
Like that is fucking mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
So you literally, it's so we literally are holding that much power, but most of us don't know how to be accountable. Like the thing that you started saying was, I don't want to be responsible for it. That's what's going on with the feminine right now. We
Yes.
don't understand that
Yes.
we are responsible whether we don't want to
Yeah.
or not.
Yes.
And when you don't want the responsibility, you reject your power. You reject what's actually available in taking responsibility.
Yes. And that's what I said. You were speaking my life playing small earlier, like one of the things that I was working through.
Yes, 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 yes. Um, um, the Capricorn full moon comes in. Somebody is asking, love DV. Evie. I'm sorry. The Capricorn full moon comes in 2 weeks, and it is about authority. And that's what we're working with. Literally understanding what is your authority. And we have been tricked as women to think that we have no authority, that we don't have any memory, that we don't have any magic, that we don't have any direction, that we're at the effect of everybody. So Capricorn is the authority. And like I
Yes.
was saying, when I was young, I gave my authority to Jesus because my grandmother told me that is what I should do with it.
Yep.
You know,
That's
and when we give our authority away, we literally lose power.
that's
We literally lose power. So is there anything else you want to say or anything you want to ask while we're still here before we
um no, just in terms of and like I said, you were speaking my life earlier. Like you said, is there anybody feeling this? Like, or do you feel like you're playing small? I do feel like I'm playing tiny. And you made this comment probably a few lives ago. I want to say this was like a month ago. You said, it feels like being a giraffe and an ant. Or you have this giraffe spirit and an ant. So how do you well, I guess daily practices do help. Like sometimes, like I have daily practices. I get up,
Yeah.
I do something called PPM. I practice, pray, and meditate in that
Yeah.
order specifically. So I'm very intentional about that. But sometimes when I do get overwhelmed, I fall off of those practices. When I fall off of those practices, I feel them. I feel them in my interactions with myself, with interactions with others, with my relationship, with everything around me, money, everything.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you feel like that, when I feel like that, like how, if I may ask for you, how do you get yourself back on track and try not to let that linger on for too long?
I follow the moon cycles. Like people like
Perfect.
this is a cycle thing, right? So when
Yes.
I fall off, I know that another cycle is coming back and I get to get back on. It's like a conveyor belt.
Got it.
And the ways that I track this thing is I'm following the cosmos. Like
Yes.
and I other you can either come join and we teach it there, or you figure it out on your own. It's okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
um, but it's like I like happily ever after holiday is saying she grounds. I ground through the moon cycles because the moon cycles tell me where we are in the creative process. It's not just grounding. Like you have to ground into something that's eternal. Is what I'm saying, and if you don't have an understanding of the creative process, your grounding can become a loop.
Yeah.
It can become a loop where you're doing the same patterns over and over again
Yes.
because you don't know that there is another opening coming and you get to leap now. That's why I teach the Mercury Rec because it's a leap. It's a
Got it.
leap out of the old way of being.
I'll have the Mercury retrograde book by the end of today. I promise. When you
And
put it out, I said that was fast. It's now I have to
I
get
know,
it.
right? And it's like so happily ever holiday is an artist. Are you an artist by any chance? Are you an artist?
Am
Organized
I an
chaos.
artist? I apologize. I am former teacher moving into technology.
Okay. So artistry, like if you can use your life as a canvas,
Hmm.
like the thing that I see, I'm surrounded by a lot of artists because I'm in Los Angeles, entertainers. They have a one up on everyone. They
Yes.
have a one up on everyone because they stay in the creative process.
Yes.
And that is the thing that most of us don't have. We're so rational. We're in that masculine energy, and the creative process is internal and feminine. And if
Yes.
you're not activating that, you won't have your power. The
I
feminine is where
feel
the power is.
happily ever after. Happily ever holiday said I'm supposed to be. I agreed. Like
Yes. Yes.
agreed. Yes.
That's right. That's right. So it's important to understand what works here and what does
Yes.
not.
Received. I got it.
Okay?
Received.
Yes.
I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Peace and
Thank you for
blessings.
having me.
That was my pleasure. I'm happy you came on. This was a great
All right.
story. I'd like to you and the work that you're doing in the name of oneness.
Yeah.
Whatever you see in them, identify it in yourself
Yeah.
and heal it in you, and it'll
Okay.
shift in them.
Got it.
That's how it
All
works.
right.
Okay. Peace and
Thank you
blessings,
so much.
everyone.
Have an amazing day.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone. All right, everyone. That was powerful. Okay. If you guys need to go get the Mercury Retrograde workbook, you can find it on my link tree or my website, which is healwithmoonmama.com. Thank you, happily ever holiday. Thank you so much. I love you. And we will be back tomorrow. Peace and blessings.